Any regrets on having kids after 30s? Had our daughter at 36. No regrets. We were financially stable, and I was a much more patient person at 36 than 26, so I feel like I've been a much better mom than I'd have been when I was younger. 1-year-old mom of 2. I had my first at 34 and my second at 37. My husband and I had a chance to have 4 years of marriage and 9 total together before kids. I could not agree more. Waiting let us have money, career flexibility due to seniority, and stability. On top of that, we know who we are separately, and as couple in a way we did not when we were younger. We got our crazy traveling and bar hopping years out together. We are now so content to be exactly where we are, and that translates into calmer, more patient parenting with our kids. It also gives you perspective. You lived as you before the kids. You'll be there after they leave the nest. So cherish the good days. And on the bad, it's easy to say this too shall pass. Having my first child at 38 and my girlfriend is 36. I couldn't agree more with being mature enough to know ourselves and also old enough that the bastard days are over and happy they are. We are both financially independently stable, so together it is just much easier. I feel I'm patent enough now to be able to be a good parent. Me in my 20s was a mess. My later 30s is finally stable. My daughter, when I was a couple months shy of 36. My only regret in waiting is that it makes it unlikely that I will ever have more children of my own. Otherwise, I was financially stable, had an established career, and was emotionally prepared to care for my little one. I appreciate every moment I have with her and would do it all over again if I could. When deciding to wait, I would take into account how many kids you want to have. Also consider that you might not get pregnant right away. I had a miscarriage shortly after we started trying, and then it took another year before I got pregnant again. First and only child at 40. 2 big regrets. 1. We are too tired to have another one. Lack of sleep the first several years is rough. 2. I constantly think of how I will be 60 when he's 20, or how if he waits to 40 to have children as I did, that it's unlikely his child/children will know their grandparents. I regret not doing this 10 years ago. My parents had me at 40. I'm 30 now. They're 70. They're doing well, but I worry for them, and not just for their own sake. I'm getting married next year. I hope to have children in the next 5 years. My parents will see my wedding. If life goes anything like the way I hope, they'll know my children. I worry that my children may not remember them. I love them so much, and I want my children to know what wonderful people they are. To have the benefit of their deep wisdom before they get stuck with my haphazard collection of witticisms. But at the same time, all of us are who we are because of the lives we have lived. I wouldn't be me if I were born 10 years earlier. More importantly to me, I wouldn't have met my fiancée, the love of my life, my soulmate. Even if I had, we'd be 15 years apart, and I'd be someone else. We likely never would have connected. I guess I'm just saying that while yes, waiting has some very big negatives, so does not waiting. You lose your 20s and 30s to child rearing. It consumes your life. You're a different person. Your children are different people from who they could be. You regret not having children 10 years sooner. That's okay. You're entitled to regrets. But I'd forgive my parents in a heartbeat if they thought they wronged me by waiting. I don't think they need forgiveness from anyone, though. I hope they don't regret waiting. I just want them to be happy. Had a kid at 21 and one at 35. I'm a relatively fit person, more so than at 21, and pregnancy at 21 was way easier. Every pregnancy is different, but my body just did not roll with the changes as well in the later pregnancy. I was more tired, more swollen, my hair fell out and took longer to grow back, and my back was much more painful. The later pregnancy left me feeling old, joint pain, fatigue, and just generally feeling less energy. Labor and delivery was a breeze at 21 and the recovery was quicker. The same could be said for parenting, I think. It's true I have more patience as an older mom, but I also have less energy. I know more, and there's more access to information now, but living on 2 hours of sleep at 35 is way harder than it was at 21. Definitely this. 36 here with a 3-year-old. Had my first child at 16. Biggest difference is being constantly exhausted. I keep waiting for the day the old me will come back, but I fear she is gone. A son at 41, and twin girls at 44. I wasn't planning to wait this long, but that's how life turned out. I wish I'd had them 10 years earlier. I'm pretty much always exhausted. If you wait this long, be in good shape and active. It'll help. I'm also usually about 10 years older than most of my kids' friends' parents. This can make it a little challenging on the social side. Try to get involved with the school, PTO, volunteering, etc. to stay in the group. It's good to know what your kids are up to with their friends. Stay abreast of pop culture, technology, and what's happening in the world of parties. If you're ignorant, that's bad. Don't ever let your kids think you are that out of touch. As a woman, I'd have to say it interrupts your career a lot more at this point. It's harder to get back into the workforce at 50 plus. Positives? My kids have great taste in music. Being a foster mom count? For me, being a bit older gave me more stability and perspective to help teenage kids, money to support us all, and a more solid marriage to show the kids. And since I didn't have the burden of pregnancy and the physical risks of going through that as an older mom, it was a great choice. That said, there are many valid reasons to not want to wait to have bio kids. There is no way I'd go through pregnancy at an older age. So, for being a foster mama, I have zero regrets. I had 3 kids in my 20s. Got breast cancer at age 32. 13 years later and all's well. This has the side effect of removing my fertility. I was glad to have the family I wanted young, because that was my one shot in retrospect. I was a stay-at-home mom, and am now in the workforce, without needing to take a break to have kids. It's not a bad way to go. 33 when I had our daughter. Pros. 1. Financially stable. 2. Had 5 years of marriage under my belt and knew my partner was ready to be a parent. 2-3. Emotionally more mature and patient. 4. In my 50s now with daughter in college, and the teen years keep me young as I bond with her over popular culture, music, politics, etc. Cons. 1. Adjusting from full-on career mode to motherhood was a tough transition for me, but a worthwhile experience IMHO. 2. My daughter will also most likely be an older mother, if at all, making me an ancient grandmother. Well 3. I'm older than most of her friends' parents, but by no means the oldest either. Not necessarily a con, since it allowed me to form friendships with folks regardless of age. It's all how you look at things, and remaining open to possibilities. The pros far outweighed the cons for me. No regrets. I will sum up the main things I took away. 1. If you are planning on getting pregnant in your mid-30s or later, it is smart to have fertility testing in your 20s or early 30s. 2. Staying healthy is incredibly important. A lot of responses about having kids earlier say the benefit would be you, and your parents are more active with them. I'm very fortunate that I stay active, and at nearly 70, both my parents are very healthy and energetic, and could probably run circles around most people half their age. I can't imagine if my parents didn't take care of themselves, and I had to worry about them passing away soon. 3. Women who waited tend to have less financial stress and feel more patient with their kids. 4. The downside seem to be parents feeling more tired and worrying about having less time with their children and less time with grandparents. Side note from my experience, I never knew my grandfathers, and while my mom has said she wishes I met her dad, it was never a big deal to me. I couldn't miss something I never had. He died out of the blue too, and that's just part of life. Unexpected things happen, and I don't want to rush into kids just out of fear my parents may die. I've talked to my mom about this, and she fully supports it. She's excited to be a grandma someday, but says to never rush it just to give her and my dad grandkids. Personally, this has given me a ton of reassurance that I won't regret waiting till my late 30s for kids. My parents had me and my brother when they were comfortable, and they provided us with an amazing life with financial stability and vacations, and I want the same for my kids. So I'll be getting my fertility tested and will be sure to stay as healthy as I can and not feel rushed. Share your story in comments and subscribe.